Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this online hearing of the Committee of Adjustment of the City of Ottawa under the Planning Act. This video conference is also live streaming on YouTube. With me are my fellow panel members, Jocelyn Chandler, Stephen Lewis, Terrence Otto, and Martin Vervoort. My name is Fabian Poulant, and I will be chairing this hearing today. The procedure for this hearing will be as follows. Listed on the agenda and appearing on the screen are the applications we will hear today. For the sake of efficiency, the committee may deal with agenda items in a different order. Committee members have reviewed the planning reports and any written submissions in support or opposition to each of the applications. Today, we'll hear oral submissions from all interested parties. Notice regarding minor variance applications, notwithstanding pre-consultation with city staff, it is the responsibility of the applicant to identify all required variances accurately on the application to one, add a new variance or increase the extent of a variance requested. It must be given in accordance with the Planning Act and may require the application to be recirculated for the next hearing date at a cost to the applicant at the prescribed fee. If an applicant amends their plans with no impact to the variances or to reduce the variances requested, recirculation may not be required. If you're appealing decisions of the committee, decisions of the Committee of Adjustment may be appealed to the Ontario Land Tribunal for a fee within 20 days of the date of the written decision. Only the applicant, the minister, or specified person or public body that has an interest in the matter may appeal the decision. A specified person does not include an individual or community association. As part of the statutory notification requirements, each applicant was required to post a sign on the property and file a statutory declaration confirming the sign posting. This declaration must be on file today before we can hear the application. Without it, I may have to adjourn the application or administer an oath if necessary. Can the coordinator confirm that we've received all statutory declarations?
Mr. Chair, we have not received any statutory declarations.
I will then administer the oath to all applicants. The committee may ask for a brief presentation of the application, followed by questions from members and submissions from the public. Please address your comments to the chair, starting with your name and spelling it if necessary, and your municipal address for the record. The committee limits presentations to 5 minutes. Any exceptions will be at the discretion of the chair. Before we begin, we have one item to address, and that is, does any member present need to declare an interest in any of the applications that are before us today or that are on the agenda of another committee panel? Any conflicts of interest? No conflicts of interest. We'll now hear the application scheduled for this hearing and deal firstly with any items that may be adjourned. I believe we have 2 items to be adjourned today. Application number 2, having to do with 930 Smith Road. Mr. Boisvert, are you available?
Mr. Chair, I'm not seeing the agent for this item. If we could step it down, I'll try to contact him now.
Very well. Thank you very much. We will now move on to application number 4. Application number 4 has to do with 3 Rock Forest Road. And Mr. Polton, are you available?
Good morning, Mr. Chair.
Good morning, Mr. Polton. You would like to have this application adjourned?
Yes, we would like, in light of the city's staff report, we understand there's issues regarding the environmental impact statement that's been prepared in support of the application. City staff have also raised official plan policies as well as some geotechnical comments. We would appreciate some additional time to sort through these issues with the city and then have the application heard at a later date.
Okay, so I would propose sine die, is that correct?
No, so we were hoping to adjourn it for a period of 2 months. We anticipate that's sufficient time to address the environmental impact statement concerns as well as the geotechnical comments. As well, that would give time to the city to update their official plan policies. We understand a report would be required to go to ARAC and Planning and Housing Committee and then Council. We would anticipate that would take about 6 weeks from when the report's released. And so that's why we would request 2 months, at least at the very least. In 2 months, there should be further clarity as to when the city will have their policies updated, if they're not updated by then.
Now, has this application been adjourned before?
It has. It was heard in December of 2021, and that was adjourned sine die at that point.
And nothing has transpired to resolve the issues that the city had at that time?
Nothing at that time, but we are interested in pursuing resolving these issues and hopefully coming back with city staffs. I don't think they'll support the application, but with lesser concerns.
Okay, so what are your proposed dates?
We were hoping to adjourn it to the April, I think it's April 5th hearing date.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Harrigan, would you like to comment on the adjournment request?
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Chair, I can't comment too much on the official plan amendment as that's outside of my scope here. We do understand it should be coming soon with the next few months, but we don't have an exact date as when that report will be finalized or presented to ARAC at this time. So I don't know if the 2 months will be sufficient for that, but that does seem to be the lesser of the concerns here. The main concern really is the development within the natural significant woodlands and right beside the natural systems core area. So we would be agreeable to an adjournment for 2 months to revise environmental impact statement, or potentially even less than that if they would move the lots over outside of the natural systems area and into the previously cleared area.
Okay, thank you. I'd like to ask panel if they would approve this application to be adjourned until April the 5th. All those in favor, please raise your hands. Your application is adjourned to April 5th. Thank you, Mr. Polton.
Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Thank you. Madam Coordinator, have you been able to find applicant? Let's see. Applicant Boisvert.
No, I'm still working on it.
Okay, very good. So we'll now move on to the applications in order. We'll deal firstly with application number 1. This has to do with 5360 Bank Street. Ms. Zander, are you available?
Good morning, Mr. Chair, committee members.
Good morning, Ms. Zander. Are you able to take the oath concerning the signposting?
I am not, Mr. Chair, but our representative from Greeley Sand and Gravel should be here, as well as Gary McLaren. I believe one of them will take the oath.
Okay. Who will be taking the oath here?
There's Gary McLaren joining, Mr. Chair.
Okay, I see him now. Thank you. Mr. McLaren, you're muted, sir. There you are.
Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I need to administer an oath concerning the sign posting on the property. Can you take that oath this morning?
I can.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the notice provided by the committee was posted at the property to which the application applies for the prescribed number of days before the hearing as instructed and was clearly visible and legible during that time? Do you swear?
I do, sir.
Thank you very much. Ms. Zander, would you like to give us a brief description of this application?
Sure, I will do that, Mr. Chair. If staff were just able to put up my sketch, I'll just speak to that briefly. Hopefully that's coming. Maybe I'll just jump in. So the purpose of the application before you today is a lot addition, a lot line adjustment between 2 properties. The subject property is at 5360 Bank Street. It's a property that has 2 zones on it. The front part of the property where the existing development is located in a rural zone. And the rear part of the property that is the subject of the lot addition is in a mineral extraction or ME2 zone. So the purpose of the application is to add the ME2 zoned part of this property to abutting lands that front to Albion Road. And so all of the ME2 or mineral extraction zone property would be combined together, and the parcel that fronts to Bank Street, which is currently in a rural zone, would stand alone as the retained lot. In support of this, there was a mineral resource impacts assessment completed by Mr. McLaren. I provided a planning rationale. There was also an environmental impact study submitted to support the application. We have been in discussion with the city staff about the zoning amendment that will be required on the retained property to recognize the long-standing commercial industrial kind of land uses that are there. So we understand that is a condition of the consent application before you. And we have reviewed the conditions, and I don't think have any concerns with those as written. But the Committee of Adjustments application is really just the lot addition to the lands fronting to Albion Road and retaining the approximately 16-acre parcel with the existing development fronting to Bank Street. I'll leave it at that. Happy to answer any questions, as could Mr. McLaren if needed. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Sander. We note that there are 5 conditions that are imposed by or requested by planning services. And there's also one other committee standard condition, which is the lot line, standard lot 5012 lot line adjustment. Are you in agreement with all 6 of those conditions?
Not sure what the wording is of that lot line adjustment condition that you're referencing, Mr. Chair. Okay,
well, I'll ask Mr. Harrigan to describe it for us. Mr. Harrigan, do you want to comment and then comment on that last 5012 standard condition?
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Chair, in general, the planning department does not have any concerns with the lot line adjustment. We do note that the retained land has been operating with several land uses that are not zoning compliant for the last 20-25 years or so, and has expanded some legally non-compliant uses without the proper permission applications. There's also the issue where building permits have not been issued in the last 25 years for multiple structures or demolition permits, as well as a possibility of site plan control. These are all reflected in the conditions. So generally, we have no concerns with the lot line adjustment, as all of the concerns about the retained parcel will be resolved by the conditions of approval. In terms of that 6th condition, that is the standard lot line addition. So it just says that the severed lands, that landlocked parcel in the ME zone, will have to merge on title with recipient lands, that no new parcels are being created. It's the standard lot line adjustment condition.
You okay with those 6 conditions then, Ms. Ender?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. I'd like to ask Conservation Partners for their comment on this application.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. There is a floodplain on the property and a regulated area within and 15 meters adjacent to the floodplain. I'd also add that on the west side of the property, that area is undefined. It's considered a spill area in the engineering study. So the floodplain hazard isn't fully determined there. It doesn't look like any work is being proposed there, so it's not a concern. We don't have any concerns with this file. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now I'd like to ask the panel for their comments. Ms. Chandler?
I have no comments. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Otto?
Yes, I just have one just question in regards to Bank Street. Bank Street used to be called Highway 31. It was a provincial highway until it was downloaded and changed to Bank Street. But in regards to the road widening, I believe it's a minimum of an arterial road. Not just a collector, and the collector is even 23 meters wide, not 20. So could planning clarify that for me, please? Because I don't want to put a condition in that's wrong.
Mr. Harrigan?
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Chair, the condition requires 20 meters from the center line. So the actual entire right-of-way protection is 40 meters for Bank Street in this area. So it's actually a little bit higher than an arterial road, which is 30 meters. So we're just requesting the standard half the distance from the center line, so 20 meters from the center line. So you are correct, it is a little bit upgraded than an arterial road.
Thank you, Mr. Otto. Mr. Lewis?
No questions, concerns, support the application. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Vervoort?
I agree as well.
Thank you. I'd now like to ask the panel for approval of this application with all six conditions. All those in favor, please raise your hands. Your application is approved, Ms. Zander. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, just letting you know we do have the agent for 930 Smith Road on the call now.
Okay, thank you. We'll deal with that at this time. So, Mr. Boisvert, are you available, sir? Are you on the phone?
Yes, he's the phone caller.
Okay. Hello, Mr.
Yes,
Boisvert.
I'm just trying to unmute there. Thank you.
Okay, Perfect. I need to, sorry, you would like to have this application adjourned, sir?
Yeah, so I just got a report back from one of the guys there, and I just wanted to review it and discuss with him a few of the line items that they're requesting. So I would like some time to chat with Jack about this, and so if I could adjourn to the 15th, I'd be appreciated.
February 15, okay. I'd like to ask Mr. Graham for some comments with respect to the adjournment request. Good morning.
Morning, Mr. Chair. Yes, we do not object to the adjournment request.
To the 15th of February?
Yep, that's correct.
Perfect. I'd now like to ask the panel for approval of this adjournment to February the 15th. All those in favor, please raise your hands. Your application is adjourned, Mr. Boisvert, to February the 15th. Thank you, sir.
Great. Thank you very much.
Now moving on to application number 3. This has to do with 4806 Moores Road. I'm looking for Ray or Hélène Kuntz. Or Kuntz. I see Raymond Kuntz here. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. I'd like to administer an oath concerning the sign posting on your property. Can you take that oath this morning?
Yes, I can.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the notice provided by the committee was posted at the property to which the application applies for the prescribed number of days before the hearing as instructed and was clearly visible and legible during that time? Do you swear?
I do so swear.
Thank you. And I believe that as far as the panel is concerned, we acknowledge that the planning services do not have any concerns with this application. And but first I would like to ask Mr. Teeth for his comments on this application.
Yes, good morning, Mr. Chair.
Morning.
So through you, Mr. Chair, we have no concerns. We believe that the minor variances requested pass the 4 tests. For the heights and setbacks, the building is only 1 additional story higher than permitted. And based on a survey of the community, it's not out of place in terms of the other structures around it. It's desirable in that it is restricted by the size of the property and the proximity of the water course. And it consolidates storage and parking within a single new building. And it meets the intent of the zoning bylaw and OP, and that it doesn't exceed the height of the existing building, maintains the it matches the existing architectural style of the dwelling, and consolidates storage into a single building.
Okay. Now we note that you have a notice on title regarding slope stability. And that's a condition of a minor variance, not something we generally have there.
That's correct.
Why would that be there?
So the property is within a within a unstable slope area. So we're just having this on title for any future development or landowners requesting a geotechnical for any additional work that may be proposed.
Okay. I'd like to ask our conservation partner for their comments with respect to this application, please. Is there someone here from the MVCA?
No,
Okay.
Mr. Chair, I don't see her on the call.
Okay, thank you. I'd now like to move on to the panel and ask the panel for their comments with respect to this application. Mr. Vervoort?
No concerns. I agree that it meets the 4 tests in the circumstances. I'm not sure about the condition. I mean, I don't think we have to condition every property that may have a potential slope stability issue because there are regulations and bylaws, et cetera, that already govern that. So I'd be in favor of approving the application, but I don't think the condition is required.
Thank you, Mr. Vervoort. Mr. Lewis?
Yeah, I support the application. I support taking that condition off also, please. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Chandler?
I agree, and I don't think there's a it's not necessary to put a notice on title. The Conservation Authority has regulations that require a permit, and any building permit, it would be flagged. So I'm not, other than that, the application is fine.
Thank you. Mr. Otto?
I agree with what's been said, 100%. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd now like to ask the panel for approval of this application without the requested condition by planning. All those in favor with this application, please raise your hands. Your application is approved. Thank you very much.
Thank you
Thank
for your
you.
time.
I believe that concludes our work for today. Thank you, everybody, for your help. And I look forward to seeing you on February